And here is the video you're waiting for. Where's the story? Oh no, where's the story? What the heck is the story? Oh well, since we doesn't got a book, that still doesn't mean I cannot tell stories for ya. And so now, we're not going to get a journey to find the book. Well, if you want to, just after the story, Hansel and Gretel, I'm going to tell it all by myself. Wait, Isaiah hasn't read Hansel and Gretel yet? And of course, let me see any more fairy tale stories. What about my made-up story? Okay, let's just make it up. Okay, so I think this will be the story of the little squirrel. This is just my new little stuffy. What's wrong with that? It's cute. Here is the squirrel's adventure. Pretend I'm not here. Wait. Little squirrel is having a walk in the woods while, what will I do? I know how to make a story. I literally doesn't know it. Oh, how about a magical at Wonderland? Okay, so since it was at Wonderland, it would be pretty weird. I found a book! Okay, so now no more made-up stories because I don't even know how to make a made-up story. And I already know my stories weren't going to be good. It's like violent, weird, and cringe. It's really weird. So you doesn't need to hear it. Only myself. Okay, so let me see. No, wait. Let's read the Ugly Duckling. The Ugly Duckling. Here we go. Page 30. Okay, 30 it is. Let me see. The Ugly Duckling. Once upon a time, in the shady reeds of a riverbank, a mother duck sat on top of her eggs. She had been waiting for a long while for them to hatch, and was getting impatient. Soon, there were cracking sounds as little ducklings emerged from their shells. One by one, the eggs hatched, except for one. The remaining eggs was much larger than the rest, and the shell was gray. Finally, the big egg cracked, and a duckling emerged. It doesn't look at all like the other fluffy little ducklings. It was big and clumsy, and instead of being a beautiful yellow color, it was dirty gray. It was a wide feet and a long neck. Even her mother duck didn't like the look of it. The other birds in the farmyard saw the big duckling. They laughed and laughed. It was the ugliest duckling we've ever seen, they said. The mother duck and her little duckling agreed that the strange duckling was too ugly to have around. The hens pecked him and the turkeys chased him. No one loved a poor little ugly duckling. One day, the ugly duckling was so fed up that he decided to leave his farmyard and find some new friends. He waddled down to the river where some wild ducks had landed. Perhaps they'll accept me, the duckling thought, and he swam over to them. Suddenly, there was a loud cracking noise. Before the ugly duckling could speak to the ducks, they flew away in fright. Nearby, hunters fired their guns. were looking for birds to shoot, and hunting dogs was crashing through the reeds. "He'll eat me up," thought the terrified duckling, but the dog ran right past him. "I've seen too ugly for a dog to eat," thought the duckling. He hid in the reeds, with his head bowed, waiting for the hunters to pass. The ugly duckling swam down the river until it reached the little cottage near the river bank. The door of the cottage opened, and a stern-faced old woman came out, followed by a red hen and a black and white cat. Ooh, wow. The woman saw the ugly duckling and grabbed hold it up. "Look, hen, look, cat," she said. "Now I shall have a duck eggs for my supper." Days passed, but the duckling didn't lay any eggs. "What use are you if you can't lay eggs?" said the hen. "Can you purr or catch mice or arch your back like me?" asked the cat. "No, I can't," admitted the little duckling. "Then you're useless," said the cat, and the hen agreed. The duckling was just miserable in the cottage, and he had been in the farmyard. "I don't belong here," he said sadly. "I want to go back to the water." The hen and the cat looked at him and laughed. "What a stupid idea," said the hen, clucking her disapproval. "You're a very silly bird," added the cat. One day, when no one was around, the duckling waddled outside and swam off down the river again. In the distance, he saw some beautiful swans flying across the sky. The ugly duckling had never seen such a magnificent birds, and his heart rose at the sight of them. "I wish I could be with them," he thought sadly. "But they would never want to spend time with someone ugly as me. I wish I were lovely as they are." Winter came and the weather became colder. The ugly duckling sat in the reeds, shivering and alone. The days and night grew colder and colder until actually the water froze over. While sleeping one day, the ugly duckling was grabbed by a farmer and taken to his house. "This will make a good pet for my children," said the farmer, and he put the duckling on some straw by the fire. However, even though the farmer's house was warm and dry, the ugly duckling wasn't happy. The farmer's children teased him and chased him around the house. He flapped his wings to escape and knocked over a jug of milk and toppled over a basket of eggs on the table. The farmer was so cross he blamed the little duckling and threw him out of the house. Oh, poor duckling. The poor little duckling had nowhere to go, so he hid in the reeds and waited for a very long, dark month of winter to pass. Snow and ice covered land, and everything was frozen. Very slowly, winter turned to spring, and the little duckling felt warm rays of sunshine on his back. The ice began to fall, and the snow began to melt. Once again, the river flowed, and the duckling was able to swim. Now, however, he found that he could swim faster than before. He had grown too, and his feather changed color. One day, a beautiful swan flew down the land on the water, even though he scared being pecked and laughed at. The duckling decided to speak to the birds. "I don't care if they laugh at me," he thought. The duckling swam up to the swans. "I'm just a ugly duckling," he said sadly. "Please don't laugh at me or peck me. I only want to speak to you." The swans looked at each other in amazement. "Look down in the water," said one swan softly. The ugly duckling looked down at its reflection for the first time at spring. That spring, instead of a gawky gray bird, It was amazed to find a beautiful white swan staring back at it. "I'm a swan!" he cried and curved his long, slender neck in joy. The other swans were very happy to have met their new friend. "Fly with us, brother," they said, and they all took off to the sky. The ugly duckling had changed to a beautiful swan. His time of unhappiness and misfortune was over, and at last he has found the true brothers and sisters. The swan lived in a long and happy life and was never lonely again. The end. And so that's all. Well, happy to see you like this little squirrel. It really is a squirrel. Look at the tail. It's bushy and it is a squirrel, but I've always really looked like a dog instead of a squirrel, and I don't even know why. Anyway, so, well, goodbye. Don't forget to like and subscribe.